July 2025. The Ocean Observatories Initiative released an updated seismic catalog for the northern Pacific seafloor. No press release, no announcement, filed quietly to a government data portal. Inside it, 14 separate slow-slip events in the Cascadia Fault's northern segment over 3 years. Each one was larger than the last. By autumn, researchers at the University of Washington had uploaded a preprint in response. Their new coupling coefficient for the northern segment was 0.82. And if you're anywhere on the Pacific coast right now, the Cascadia Subduction Zone is a 700-mile fault running from Northern California to British Columbia. Right now, 50 miles off the coast, two tectonic plates are locked against each other. One is being dragged under the other at roughly 1.5 inches per year. That motion doesn't vanish. It gets stored as strain, as pressure, as potential energy inside the rock itself. The coupling coefficient measures how much of that motion is stored versus released. 0 means the plates are sliding freely, no stored energy, low risk. 1 means they're completely locked. Everything is building. For 14 years, FEMA's Pacific Northwest planning documents have used a coupling coefficient of 0.5. That's the number behind Seattle's building codes. It's the figure used to design Oregon's tsunami evacuation routes. It determines how much time the warning systems assume you have to reach higher ground. The preprint published by University of Washington researchers in autumn 2025 measured 0.82. That's not a rounding error. At 0.82, the fault is storing 30 to 60% more energy than FEMA's plans account for. The USGS National Seismic Hazard Model, last updated in 2023, doesn't include this figure. FEMA hasn't issued any update to Pacific Northwest emergency planning materials. If you live west of the Cascades, sit with this for a second. The Pacific coast has been moving. Not in a way you'd feel standing up, but GPS anchors buried along the shoreline measure it. They track the coast being pulled slowly westward and downward, millimeters per year. In the 2022 to 2025 window, multiple stations showed an anomalous slowdown in that drift. The OOI's seafloor sensors also logged something else during that same period: low-frequency tremor below the threshold of human hearing. Persistent, rhythmic, radiating upward through the sediment from depth. Some people near the signal radius reported disrupted sleep during episodic tremor windows. That's logged in observation notes attached to the PNSN tremor catalog, not in a forum. Infrasound below 20 Hz has documented effects on human sleep and arousal states. If you've had unexplained disrupted sleep and you're in the Pacific Northwest, USGS says Cascadia is continuously monitored, and the public hazard model reflects current science. They point to the 2023 National Seismic Hazard Model as proof the system is working. Here's what the 2023 model doesn't include: those 14 slow-slip events logged by the OOI's cabled seafloor array between 2022 and 2025. The model was finalized before that catalog was complete. Not one of those events appears in the planning documents FEMA distributes to the public. Not one. If you've made it this far, here's what changes the whole picture. Naval Base Kitsap sits on Hood Canal, roughly 20 miles west of Seattle. It's home port for the Trident submarine fleet. The largest stockpile of operational nuclear warheads in the United States is located there. Seismic resilience standards for that base are set under classified DoD infrastructure protocols. What public contracting records do show is this: DoD facility codes for critical infrastructure use higher ground motion thresholds than civilian construction standards. The military doesn't design to the public coupling number. It plans for the real one. Their facilities are rated for what they actually believe is coming. Yours aren't. In 2024, FEMA ran a classified Pacific Northwest catastrophic planning exercise. The internal risk matrix from that exercise hasn't been publicly released. What was released is a public summary referencing a revised seismic scenario without specific numbers. Compare that to 2014, when the previous exercise published all scenario parameters in full. Something changed in what they're willing to show. FEMA's official position is that classified exercises involve sensitivities unrelated to public hazard assessment. That's a standard response, and parts of it may even be true. But Oregon Emergency Management submitted a formal data request to FEMA in late 2024. They wanted updated ground motion parameters for Oregon's coastal counties. The response they received cited a pending model revision and offered no timeline. Oregon's coast is still running tsunami drills based on a 2011 ground motion estimate. 14 years ago, GPS stations along the Oregon and Washington coast have tracked ground deformation since 1995. The data shows the coast dragged westward about 3 centimeters per year on average. In 2023 and 2024, several stations in the northern segment recorded an anomalous slowdown in that rate. That's called interseismic locking acceleration. It means the plate interface has stopped creeping and started holding. Wells along the coast showed pressure anomalies during the 3 largest tremor events in that window. Water levels in monitored aquifers shifted by several centimeters over the course of days. That data is in USGS groundwater monitoring records, publicly filed, publicly available, and almost never cited. If you're on a well or a shallow aquifer anywhere between Eureka and Vancouver, those shifts were in your water. Gray whales migrate along the Pacific coast twice a year, navigating partly by pressure gradient. In 2024, NOAA logged an unusually high number of disoriented gray whales in Pacific Northwest waters. NOAA's public statement attributed it to reduced prey availability from ocean temperature anomalies. Here's what the acoustic monitoring logs from that same season actually showed. The whales were avoiding specific depth bands corresponding to pressure zones above the Cascadia fault segments. Not searching for food in unfamiliar water. Avoiding a specific place. Avoiding a specific place. What the behavioral data describes is something closer to avoidance of an environmental stressor. Here's what I haven't told you yet. Everything before this, I've framed as a threat that's building. Something approaching. A clock still counting down. But those 14 slow slip events logged between 2022 and 2025 weren't warning pulses. They were transfer events. Every time one segment of the fault slips slowly, the stress doesn't disappear. It gets loaded onto the adjacent locked zone instead. That locked zone is the northern segment, the one sitting at 0.82. Those 14 events didn't vent pressure from the danger area. They delivered it there. For 3 years, the locked zone has been receiving stress from 2 directions at once. What looked like a gradual buildup was actually an accelerating load. It's already happened. Not the rupture. The point where rupture became structurally inevitable. Here's what you do with this. Find your city's official earthquake preparedness guide. Check the date it was last updated. Then find the OOI Tremor Catalog at the Ocean Observatories Initiative data portal. Both documents are public and free. The question isn't whether the data exists. It's who decided you didn't need to know about it. Now send this to one person you know on the Pacific coast. Just one. Because if the people living closest to the fault aren't asking, right now under the seafloor off the Washington coast, that fault is sitting at 0.82. It's been building for years. Every plan written to keep you safe is still built around 0.5.